hypothesis testing for proportion. Now this time a PennDOT officer claims that 60% of young drivers are texting when driving. So in order to prove his claim, he gets selected 200 young people and asks them if they text when they drive, and out of these 200, 128 say yes, they are texting when driving. So is this enough evidence to support his claim? That's the question here. Now let's enter our data, which 60% for the population proportion, 5% significant level, and 128 say they are texting when driving out of 200 sample. That means 64% for the sample, 64% they say they text when they driving. Now, is this 64% significantly different than 60%? That's the question again. So I'm looking for if 60% claim is correct or not. So in this case, again, we are going to use 5-step hypothesis testing. The first step is H0 proportion population equal 60%, and H1 proportion population is not equal 60%. Now the next step is to find out the critical value. So in order to find the critical value, we're going to use z-test. So since our level of significance is 5%, so I'm going to click here so you can see how we use the function. The probability B5 divided by 2. The reason we divide B5 by 2 because it is 2 tails, and then I need only one tail, left tail, and then I'm going to look for the right tail. So since this is 2 tail, I need to divide B5 by 2. So norm.s.inv level of significance divided by 2, which will be 0.0025, 5% divided by 2. And I should do this for both sides, like right side and the left side. So the critical value is 1.96. Any number between minus 1.96 and plus 1.96 would be H0 accept, and any number beyond these points, greater than 1.96 or less than minus 1.96 would be H0 accept. Now I need to use this formula for the z-test. The cell B10 is for this formula. P, which is the sample proportion, we find it here, right here, 128 divided by 200, which is B6 divided by B7. So 64% of the sample, they say they text when they drive, and the official's claim was 60%, so 64 minus 60%, B9 minus B4, divided by SQRT, 60%, which is B4, times 1 minus B4, 1 minus 60%, divided by sample size, B7. So when I hit enter, and I can find the z-test statistic, which is 1.1547, 1.15. Now if you look here, 1.15 falls between minus 1.96 and plus 1.96. That means with 95% confidence, we should agree with the officer's claim who says 60% of young drivers are texting when driving. So this is enough evidence. His survey was enough evidence to prove his claim. 60% of young drivers are texting when driving.